Hello again and welcome back to Rusty's Rustic Pantry. Today we're going to be looking at something very simple, and that's just curing back bacon or pork loin, turning a pork loin joint into a bacon joint. Very easy to do, and the results you can get are absolutely amazing. Today we're going to be using a very basic brine that is just going to cure and not add any additional flavour as such. We're not going to be using any herbs or spices to add in to the brine, to the cure. Now this is going to be a dry cure. Now the cures we use nitrites and nitrates in them. These are necessary in order to keep that lovely pink colour you have when you open a pack of bacon. The rashes you get are lovely and pink. That's due to the presence of nitrites and nitrates in the cures. Pork and meats have always been cured for thousands of years just using salt, which you can do, but you will not end up with bacon. What you will have is basically salt pork. It will be grey in colour, it'll be very salty, but it was the old faithful way of preserving meats, well, for centuries. The dry cure we're going to be using is one I've purchased locally. As you probably all know by now, I love to shop locally, use the guys who are the independent stores and that sort of thing. And I went along to W.I. Wrights and Sons here in Liverpool, and I bought a big tub of what's called an all-in-one cure. Now this has the nitrates, the salt, the sugars, the preservatives, everything you need already mixed to go straight onto the pork. And you'll be amazed at how little you need. Because nitrates and nitrites in high quantities and high concentrates can be poisonous, so you do need to measure things out very accurately. Now the dry cure that I've got is what's called a 5% cure. With dry cure as opposed to wet curing, you have to examine the meat and see how heavy the actual piece of meat is you're going to be curing. This weighs 1,100 grams, 1.1 kilos, and the cure is, as I said, a 5% cure, so you need to weigh that out to 5% of the weight of the meat. So that is, to my reckoning, 55 grams. That's all you need. 55 grams is all you need to cure this big piece of loin. It's amazing how little you actually need. In order to weigh that out, I'll just point out, I've got these little set of digital scales. Now you can buy these dirt cheap off of auction sites. This one, I believe, cost me about £10, which I bought several years ago. It's been absolutely fantastic. I use it for all sorts of things. It's really like a little jeweller's scale, but it's accurate to 1/10 of a gram. And you can also, it's got weights that comes with it, so you can actually calibrate it if you think it's out at all a regular basis. I say invaluable and something you will need if you're going to go along the lines of curing your own meats, because, as I say, with the dry cures you're going to be weighing very small amounts. You can make up your own dry cure using what's called pink salt, which you can buy online or at various stores. You then add that to the salt and the sugar, but when you're looking at a piece of meat this size, you're probably only going to, if you're going to use pride powder number 1 or something like that, which is the nitrate element, you're only going to need to weigh out probably about 2 or 3 grams to actually go with the salt and the sugar if you're mixing up your own cure. But this is already done, it's all ready to go, and it's purchased in bulk beforehand. I will show you in other videos how to mix that up, and we'll be curing some meats with our own homemade cures and adding additional things to them such as flavourings, but we'll save that for other videos. This piece of pork, this loin, very lean. I've actually trimmed the skin off of it. It's a little bit leaner, in fact it's a lot leaner than I usually like to have. I like to have a nice fat cap on the meat, especially if we're going to smoke it. But in this day and age, I suppose we're all supposed to be looking after our hearts and things. Less fat is always good, I suppose. I could probably do with that myself, actually, looking at this. Anyway, the bank can't take this off me, can it? Right, okay, so we're going to be looking at curing this, and it's dead simple. Onto our metal curing tray, and all we do is very simply, over the top, sprinkle over half the cure, Give it a rub in. Turn it over. Exactly the same on the other side. Give it a good rub in. Make sure it goes over the faces as well. Turn it over, mop up all the excess cure that is on the tray here. It's always handy to have a little tray like this to catch all the spillage of the cure. Now then, a little tip. This is going to have to go into a Ziploc plastic bag in the fridge for some time. Now the problem with Ziplocs are, if you get any of that cure into the actual Ziploc itself, you can have trouble closing the bag. So a little tip, before you start, turn over the top part of your Ziploc bag so you don't get any of that cure into the grooves, or try not to anyway. This is probably where I end up eating my words and getting caught out, but we'll try and put this in as quickly as we can. Into the bag like so, with all that lovely cure on top. Now any remaining cure that's in the tray, we've got to shake down into the corner. Get as much of it out, because remember you've actually weighed this cure out specifically for this weight of meat. So get as much of it in there as you can. Simply tip the excess, well not excess but what's left, into the bag. I'm going to rinse my hands again just to make sure I don't get any of these granules into the ziploc part of the bag, so I can still close it. So just simply turn that back up, give it a shake, and a bit of luck. Look at that, lovely. Just open it up a little bit, squeeze some of the air out, as much of the air out as you can, like so, and zip it back up. Good shake. Give another bit of a massage in the bag, and that is all you need to do. Now this can go into the fridge. What I suggest you do, if you've got room, put this on a shelf in the fridge so that this part of the bag can rest up against the side of the fridge, just in case you get any leakage. Now I suggest you leave these in the fridge, in the bag, for a minimum of 7 days. I tend to leave mine in for 10, just to make sure that cure has done a full and thorough job of turning this lovely piece of meat into bacon. You will find over the next few days that there will be a build-up of liquid in that bag. That's what you want to see. You want to see a nice liquid forming in here, which shows that the cure is actually doing its job. It's drawing moisture out of the meat. The cure is going into the meat. It's doing its job of preserving it, keeping that lovely pink colour, and also giving you that flavour of bacon. Okay, remember, if it was just salt, it would be very salty. It would be salt pork. It's the nitrites and nitrates in the cures that actually turn it into bacon. Without them, you won't get the bacon flavour. The liquid, as I said, you've built up in that leave-in. Just each day, go to the fridge, pick it up, give it a bit of a rub and a massage, and turn it over so the other side resides in the residual liquid. So the other is basically curing each side equally. And that is all you need to do a very basic back bacon. I'm going to be doing some other videos showing you how to do things like molasses cured bacon, sweet cures, some aromatics. This will probably end up going on a smoker. We'll be looking at how to cold smoke bacon and other meats and that in future videos. So please subscribe to the channel. Keep popping back from time to time. As I say, this is a new channel. We've only got a few videos up at the moment, but we are hoping to grow and basically show you other things like sausage making, dry curing hams, prosciuttos, and that sort of thing. So really the sky's the limit of what we can do. Barbecue stuff, you name it, we're going to have a look at doing it. Okay, we'll see you again in about 10 days.